Hello friends and potential friends. Well, just finished supper. Decided to take a walk around, see if I could pack down that food a little bit. And of course I wound up out here for dessert. Pick a few more mulberries. But this is not going to be a mulberry video, although it could very well be. I could probably fill up that bucket about half full just with what's on the tarp right now. Not to mention everything else that's still up in the tree. Looks like we got probably a couple good weeks left of mulberry season. And I've already filled up that bucket twice. Getting close to 5 pounds of mulberries, or 5 gallons. So let's just wander around, see what else we can see. Oh, there's a robin. Oh, he flew away. Oh, there he is up in the tree up there. Apparently, this is where the robins go to spend their summers, because they tend to hang out here most of the summer. And as shortly before I leave to head back to Florida, they leave and head south somewhere. I'm not sure where. We do see them in Daytona for about a week or so as they pass through. I guess most of them probably head for Mexico. But we do have a lot of birds up here. Let's see what else we can find. The kitchen garden is doing well, and we've been eating a lot of greens out of here. That Swiss chard has been feeding us since I got here. Got an eggplant over there that's starting to take off. Another bok choy that's about done. A little bit of basil hiding down there next to the kale. We did cut one cabbage head. Mom turned it into coleslaw. One of my favorite side dishes. I grew up eating that stuff and I just love her coleslaw. Got some leeks there. A summer squash, yellow summer squash it says. And the next one over there is a radish. We did pull one of the other radishes the other day. And this tomato is a Better Boy. I think Mom got it from my little sister up the street. And it's got some tomatoes starting to form down in there. So it won't be very much longer till we'll have fresh tomatoes. There is another one hiding down in here. We spotted this one a while back. So it's the biggest of the 3 or 4 that I've found on here so far. We need to start eating some more of that kale too. Got a few things growing in the green stalk tower. The cilantro is starting to go to seed. This is some of the holy basil I brought with me from Florida. Mom's got lettuce planted in most of the top 2 layers, and it's starting to pop up. I'm not sure what else she's got planted down there, but there are a few things starting to show up there. So it's been a little bit of a struggle trying to keep this thing watered. It's so dry here, that thing dries out every day. But it still seems to be producing. And here we'll take a look at the Northern Lab. We've got several types of basil growing here. There's a sweet basil back there, another basil over here. This says that it's cherry bloom radishes. And then on this end is catgrass that I'm growing for my kitty cat. He likes that stuff, so I keep growing it for him. But this is the Northern Lab. Only have 1 set of lights going right now. She does have 2, but just needs 1 for the seed starting. Just starting to see a few plums show up on this plum tree. Not nearly as many as there were last year, which might be a good thing because I helped Mom organize her pantry today, and she's got a bunch of jars of plum puree. And tonight we had plum barbecue sauce for dinner. And man, that was good. It was a bit sweet. We'd had to mix it with some other barbecue sauce to tamp down the sweetness a little bit. But it was still good. I'm not sure if we're just too early to catch all the plums on this tree, or maybe it's going to take a year off and not produce as many. I haven't seen as many showing up on the big plum tree yet either. And I can't even tell what the one over there is doing. That's the yellow plums. And Mom has a few jars of those in the pantry too. And another find at the Wonder Ranch. I found this in a bucket out under a tree the other day. Now I've got one just like it back in Daytona that I found here last year. So I'll set this one up to make some good luck for Mom and my sister. And out here in the main garden, today is Sunday and the water is flowing again. But this is not going to be an irrigation video either, because we've been planting. We've got some broccoli planted down here at this end. Then I planted a few tomatoes in here that I brought from Florida with me. Before I left Florida, I planted out 6 cups with 3 different types of basil. And on the trip out here, 4 of those cups turned into tomatoes. And 1 turned into asparagus. So we have this little asparagus plant over here, and then 3 tomatoes over there on that side. I have no idea what they were. They're volunteers. If they're from last year's seed, then they most likely are garden peach tomatoes, because they don't really look like a Praxis. And those 2 varieties are all I grew last year. I have had cases where seeds have popped up that I had planted 2 or 3 years ago, so there's no telling what those are. And then this is the main tomato bed. They're growing good since I put the shade cloth over top of them, but they haven't produced any fruit yet. But then again, they've only been in the ground for about a month, so we can't complain about that. And this guy down here is our lone Praxis cherry tomato. It does have quite a few blossoms, but it hasn't really exploded as far as growth goes yet. And I expect it to. The one we planted last year took over the whole end of one of these beds. And this year, it's got catnip to compete with. That just volunteered too. Of course, that stuff grows wild everywhere around here. The next bed out, we've got a couple of artichokes and our okra plants. Little tiny things, but they're already producing a little bit of okra for us. Just 2 plants, and they were left over from last year. We got a mysterious squash, another mystery squash, and then these ones out here. One of them says it's an acorn squash, and the other says pumpkin pie. So those have just started growing fast. And this morning I noticed we've got some sunflowers popping up. And they had better grow fast too, because they're going to have to stay ahead of these squash and pumpkins. And then there's this side. These ones are not competing, they have just decided they're going to take over, just like they did last year. This is spaghetti squash and some more pumpkin pie pumpkins, I believe. This one is a spaghetti squash, and there are a number of tiny fruits on there already. The other one next to it, I believe, is a pumpkin pie. And it's got lots of blossoms. I haven't found any real fruit forming yet, but it's not going to be long. It's already reached the ground on both sides of the bed, and probably going to be heading out into the pasture before too long. So we'll see what happens with there. And we, like the other bed, I planted a couple of sunflowers in this here, and they just popped up today, so they better get growing. And then finally we have 3 watermelon plants that we planted a couple days ago. We've been soaking them down every day with water. Hopefully they will spread and fill in this area. The garden is doing good. It's just starting to really take off, and some of it better than others. The garlic over here is just about ready to pull, and then I'm not sure what we're going to put in its place. Mom mentioned possibly onions or carrots or something, so we'll see how that works out. And I think that's about it for right now. So consider that just a quick tour of the garden, and I'll see y'all next time.